Hey, what's up, everyone? It is your favorite nurse yogi, Lesline. So today is National Book Lovers Day. So happy National Book Lovers Day, first off. And also a special shout out to my friend, Brittany Johnson, who's an incredible marketer and has helped me with my content. I'm going to put that out there. And so today, you're going to see this probably in an hour or two, but this morning, she texted me hey, it's National Book Lovers Day, and she gave me suggestions. So I'm a very action executor type person. And I was like, you know what? I was going to post something else today, but let me be relevant. So let's get into it. What are some of the books I'm reading? Books that are also, let's say this, these books, 3 out of 4, because I'm gonna give you 4 books that I have loved, that some of them I go back to repeatedly. Have helped with my confidence, have helped me show up boldly, confidently, all of the things, build consistency, all of the things you want, you see me and you're like, you are goals, Lesline, and even if you're not saying that, I'm saying that to past Lesline. If past Lesline saw me today, she would be like, your goals, right? We are in a new location. It's still in my house, but we painted one of our bedroom actually, and I love actually, okay, let me be really honest with y'all. I wanted it to have a little more green in the paint, but that's not what this video is about. But I say that because you might see, well, I'm sitting in front of it, but if I get too excited, you might see the outlet that still has painter's tape on it. So I'm just being transparent with that. But I know I'm tired of the white walls in my home, and I know you're probably too. So I was like, let's change it up. All right, books. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to recommend, obviously, is Black Women's Yoga History, Memoirs. I feel like memoirs, you have to say it like that. Don't ask me where I got that from, but I just feel like it's a really fancy word. I don't know what is it, not the edit, the background of the word. Maybe it's French. I don't know, but it sounds fancy. Memoirs of Inner Peace by Stephanie Y. Evans, who is a Black author. So you see the picture alone, which is a classic picture. But this book has been incredible for me because I am, if you don't know already, I am a certified yoga teacher. And yoga has been a hobby now turned into my business, but it started as a hobby in 2009. And in 2009, there were not a lot of people that looked like me, at least to my knowledge. I can only speak for myself, right? That were in the yoga studios that I frequented in my city. So when I saw that this book came out, and it was actually one of my mentors, if I'm not mistaken, it was my mentor, Angie Franklin. Definitely check her out. Angie Franklin. She goes by @AfroYoga on Instagram. She's a beast in these wellness streets for Black women, particularly. Anyway, so she recommended this book, if I don't mistaken, and anytime a mentor recommends a book for me, I buy it. I buy it or I get it from the library. This one I actually bought because if I remember correctly, also this book came out during, let's look. You remember back in school how they taught you to look when this book came out in 2021. And I remember hearing about it though in 2020. So I was like, I don't know. During the pandemic, I was very I have to support everything that's Black. I came to a big turning point, if you will, of just really doing everything I could to support Black culture. That was just something that's been really important to me now that I have my own children. So I was like, I have to buy this book. And it's textbooky in the sense that it does have an index. So that's why I'm saying that is because I have not read this book from cover to cover because it is textbook style, in my opinion, in the sense that I just go to the index. So if I'm I want to know about, stress reduction or Afrofuturism, I can go to page 120 where she's talking about it, right? So today, earlier, shameless plug, on TikTok, I read actually an excerpt talking about self-care, stress management, because that is what my entire business, Leslie Does Wellness, got some merch on. That is what my entire business is about. I'm just making sure I'm recording. Again, just being transparent. I feel like every video you're going to see me, but I just want to make sure it's you actually. Okay. That's what my entire business, Leslie Does Wellness, is all about, is showing new moms how to prioritize themselves through the use of yoga. That's the tagline. The under part of that is because Black women specifically are one of the biggest groups to be at risk for diseases such as high blood pressure, heart disease, right? We are more at risk for those things. We are more at risk for dying in childbirth. Like, there's all of these things, and it's because of stress. Why are we stressed? We can go through a slew of things: racism, sexism, like all of these isms, right? So anyway, she talks about how we as Black women, there's things though that we do have in our tool belt. Like, not all of us as a collective, because Black people are not a monolith, but she's just saying, like, as Black women, we do have tools, we do have interventions, right? And she mentions, like, and I'm trying to find it quickly here we go: exercise, faith, prayer. What else does she say? I lost it. Oh, self-care, sisterhood, volunteerism, and mindfulness as interventions that have helped Black women manage stress. Because before this, a little bit further up, she talks about the strong Black woman persona and how that's trash. She's like, if you're going to continue to follow being a strong Black woman, you're going to continue to be stressed. And I'm not adding my own part to this, but you're going to continue to be stressed. You're gonna put yourself at more risk of dying earlier in life because of the stress, right? And I'm not saying it's because of the stress. What happens is when you're so stressed out, it comes out in different ways. If that be high blood pressure, if that be, oh my God, there's so many things like that can possibly happen to somebody if you're not properly managing your stress. So I'm super, super passionate about it. So I really love this book just from a Black woman's perspective. And I love that it's Black women's yoga history. Like, that's it's for me. It's for me. Like, I'm like, you're talking directly to me. And then obviously she plugs, like, you know, it's very science-based too. So she, you know, like, talks about, like we already discussed, like, we're more at risk for high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases because of stress. So she gives you research, like medical research studies and stuff like that. It's very, if I'm not mistaken, she is like a researcher. So it's very research, like fact-based heavy. She also discusses how yoga is not a religion. Yoga is not a religion. I'm going to say that one more time. Yoga is not a religion. And she says here, yoga is not a religion, but a science several thousand years old, which I can attest to that, going through the certification of becoming a yoga teacher. Yoga is old, okay? Been around for a long time, which has developed systems of exercises, physical, mental, and spiritual. I love that. I'm hearing this for a different time as I'm reading it to you. So she says, yoga is not a religion, but a science several thousand years old, which has developed systems of exercises, physical, mental, and spiritual, which may begin with the purification of the body and which culminate in a stage wherein the individual soul becomes merged into the infinite. I love it! Oh my God, that got me so excited. I never read the full sentence of that, guys. Anyways, that is beautiful. This is almost a 10-minute video, and I was like, I'm gonna make this a cute, like, 8-minute. So we're gonna wrap up, but I just love this book so much. Yoga, man, it's not just the physical, right? That's one aspect of exercise. There's also mental exercise. There's also spiritual exercise that takes place when you learn how to practice yoga. And we'll talk about that in another video. So again, highly recommend Black Women's Yoga History, Memoirs of Inner Peace by Stephanie Y. Evans. Even if you are like, I don't want to become certified as a yoga teacher, like I don't want to do that, Leslie. If you are on a healing journey as a Black woman, I recommend that you check this book out. Okay, the second book that I am recommending, and it's not really in any particular order, but the second book is Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra Glover Tawwab. And I don't know if I'm saying her last name properly, but Miss Nedra. This book, I sound like Oprah with what I'm about to say, but I really did buy this book for a friend. When I bought this, I bought a second copy. I was like, you need this too. Don't know if she's read it yet, but I still got a bookmark. Hey. But this book, again, I have not read it cover to cover, but it has an index as well. And there was actually a situation I had with somebody once, and I didn't know how to respond. I just knew that I didn't want to talk to them. So I pulled this book out. I pulled out my boundary Bible, if you will. And I was like, okay, Miss Nedra, how I say that I don't want to talk right now? And Miss Nedra told me what to do. And I said it based on how she told me to say it, okay? So this book is incredible. And she actually, Miss Nedra has another book, if I'm not mistaken, it's already dropped, Drama Free. I haven't copped that yet, but I know it's nothing but a banger, right? She is a licensed therapist. So, like, again, it's reputable. It's not just like hodgepodge. I don't know, whatever the word I'm trying to say. Y'all feel it. Great book. It's great. And there's like, at the end, because, you know, she's a therapist, therapists be giving you homework, right, guys? Man, do we do the homework? Hold on. Oh, okay. This stopped, so I kind of panicked. So at the end of every chapter, she gives you a homework to do, to reflect, like all of that. She now has like 1 million followers on Instagram. Like, if you're not following her already, make sure you're following her on Instagram, because she pulls from her book and also with like things she's shared with her clients and realizations, all of that. It's great. She's doing really well. It's really nice to see like how much she has taken off as a therapist. So again, Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Miss Nedra. Boundary Bible. Third book, and I promise we have 2 more to go. These are not all personal development. There is the 4th book that I'm gonna recommend. I have to ship. My friend was like, Leslie, this book, girl, what? Anyways, I thought it was funny. But the 3rd book is the final personal development book. Then we'll get into the fun. This is the 4 Agreements. This is a book that one of my life coaches, and if not also my therapist, recommended that I read. So it's the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And what the book says, like, it's 4 agreements. So Mr. Ruiz tells you 4 agreements, like he gives you 4 agreements to live by. And he's like, if you live by these, your life will transform. He's not lying. So I'll just quickly read the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Do not take anything personal. Do not make assumptions. You know what they say? You make an ass out of you. Is that how it goes? And then always, always, always do your best. So again, this is the 4 agreements, and I love this book so much that I actually made a whole like yoga workshop series where we broke down each agreement. So each class, we just talked about being impeccable with your word, and then we flowed and moved our body through that. Because when you read personal development books, let me just check this one more time, guys. Okay. And you probably saw, okay. When you read, I can only speak for me, but when I read personal development books, it can sometimes bring up stuff, right? And I'm reading this other book that I haven't finished yet. Lord have mercy. It's another personal development book, and it's so heavy. It's called It Doesn't Start With You. Also, if I'm not mistaken, it is written by a psychologist as well. And I'm realizing some of like the trauma that I have, it's like stuff generationally, right? So when I read books like this isn't like that heavy. It's not heavy. It's actually super short. Like, this was probably one of the first personal development books that I finished, because it is only like, it's about 100 pages, if that. It's very short. But after I read these when I read like heavy books, I'll like exercise. I'll do some yoga or something. So that's why when I created my 4 Agreements yoga series, which you can check it out on my website, lesliepittman.com, I was like, I need to do something where we read the chapter, but then we move whatever starts to come up. It lives like the bottom of your belly, it feels like. Whatever starts to come up and make that chest feel tight, we need to do some chest openers. We need to breathe. We need to move that stagnant energy that is now coming up throughout your body, right? And we need to just expel it, breathe it out, right? Like, because energy, like, it can stay trapped in your body, and that type of energy, when it comes to generational stuff, you need to move it. So anyways, the 4 agreements, though, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Okay. The last book, it's on my Kindle, and I'll see possibly if I can put like a picture here of either here or on my face, called Before I Let Go. So Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan is a fictional book. So, but it has themes of realness, in the sense it talks about mental health. It talks about motherhood. It talks specifically about, and this isn't really spoiling because this is how the book opens up. It talks about the character, and Kennedy does say in the beginning of the book, like before you start, she does give a disclaimer about there is talk in the book about stillbirth. So like, if you don't know what that is, it means like you birth the baby, but then the baby's not alive. Okay, so the book talks about stillbirth, mental health, like, because the mom that births the baby, she goes through a depression. Her marriage, after going through that traumatic experience, her marriage like crumbles. And mind you, they have 2 kids like already. So and on top of that, they were like college sweethearts. So I really loved that book, guys. I really loved it. I read it on my Kindle. And I went through it so quick. I was just like, oh my God. Because I love when fictional books like bring in like real life stuff, and even like light stuff. Like one of the characters was putting on Fenty bronzer. Like I like things like that, where you're like, oh, it's like they create this universe, but then they bring similarities from our universe into like this fictional universe. I like that. So again, that book is called Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And when I say mental health, it's like mental health as a Black woman, and also mental health as a Black man. Like, and like the therapist like talking to the characters. And that's also something Kennedy says in the book. She says that she made sure she consulted like friends, people that she knew that are licensed therapists and things like that, to make sure it's relevant. And I think she did a great job, like being the client of therapy. I was like, this is good. And it was nice to hear like the Black, like the husband going to therapy as well, and hearing, because how this book is like you read her side, then his side, her side, like the husband, the wife. So it flips, flops, pull through both of their perspectives. And